Heroes, unite! Okay, first, let me make sure that worked.
Heroes, unite!
Okay, let me clarify. Sorry about that. I will add that to here. Okay. Look. Guys, okay, I'm just going to be honest. First, before anyone starts questioning, in case I haven't already made it quite obvious in other videos, I'm a Christian. Now, I know it says spiritual call to arms, and before anyone goes completely crazy and starts thinking I'm trying to instigate a terrorist attack, because I have met quite a few people who would assume that, that is not at all what I am trying to do. But I do have some important info that we Christians as a whole, myself included, need to know. Okay, look, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Like, so many different things. I could spend 4.5 hours explaining all of them. I mean, seriously, coronavirus, that, all this other stuff. I won't name it all because some of it may not be appropriate, and others I just simply don't know how to word it. But the fact is, we need to stop this hate. There's all this crazy nonsense going on in the world, and we Christians are supposed to be the pinnacle of peace. And instead of actually helping, and I don't know about other social media, but on Discord, I've seen so many false Christians that's not even funny. Now, enough is enough, people. We need to step up our game. Now, I mean, look. Fact is, we are Christians, and we have a certain law set to uphold. And right now, I hate to say it, but it seems like the whole Christian community is full of idiots, morons, fools, and imbeciles. And that includes myself. And jerks, too. I mean, I'm probably all that just for making that one comment. But the fact is, look, we are sinners. And we can go for hours on end telling people, oh, you're wrong because of blank, 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 blank. But that's not what a Christian is supposed to be, okay, people? And I've gone to several Discord servers where people are trying to explain stuff from the Bible, like spread the word of the Lord. That's, well, fine, good, great, excellent, terrific, whatever other positive adjective you can think of. But it does no good when they start saying something, and then when someone tries to calmly be like, what are you talking about? Instead of the person answering, they just straight up ignore and spam Bible verses. I mean, come on! How is that teaching? At this point, you're making atheists seem better. You're making a troll seem logical. I mean, come on, people. I hate to say it, but nowadays, 90% of Christians are acting just like the Pharisees in the Bible. Seriously! I mean, come on! I mean, not to mention, there's all these crazy denominations. And I can go for hours on end explaining what I agree with and what I disagree with and how this is right and how this is wrong about every denomination. Now, Now, of course, the reason for the denominations is because of disagreements. But we all claim that we're Christians. It's time that we start acting like them instead of a bunch of foolish people who are idiots that don't want to listen to reason. I mean, you can have your opinion. Nothing's wrong with a personal opinion. But look, having the opinion does not make you permanently right. Okay? And the way every Christian is acting nowadays is making it seem like it is permanently right. Just because you think it's right does not make it right. Just because you think it's wrong does not make it wrong. I should know. I have been falsely and incorrectly taught so much of my life. I mean, seriously. My own hometown preacher couldn't even answer a simple, how can you be saved? We even had a room called the demon room. I mean, come on. And it wasn't even a church service. I think I would literally get a better church service by sticking my finger in a fire ant bed. Literally all we did was go in, preacher talks about a personal experience, we sing a song, read a verse, and then repeat for 2 hours. That's literally not church. Mind you, I have ADHD, and 90% of the time I was playing a video game because it literally made no sense. I came to church to read the Bible, not to hear someone's story, okay? Now, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be hateful. I don't mind hearing other people's stories. But when you go to church, you go to learn about the Lord, not who you met at a grocery store 2 minutes ago. I mean, come on, people. People call me crazy. People call me a fool. People call me an idiot, a moron, a jerk, and pretty much anything else you can think of. And the fact is, I can't deny any of it. I hate to say it, but I am most of that stuff. But when I, a fool, has more knowledge than someone who claims to be wise, you know something's not right in there. Okay? Now, the whole world is being blind and deaf to the truth. Not willing to listen to or accept anything that someone teaches them. Now, I'm not here to state what's right and what's wrong. Because, well, as I said, I've been falsely taught. I have slowly just now started to learn. And I just turned 24 a few days ago, okay? And, well, it took me 24 years to learn some of the basics about the Bible. Case in point, I didn't know what the heck baptism was until literally back in March. March this year. 24 years old, didn't know what the heck baptism was, yet had been a Christian my entire life. I don't know about you guys, but something's not right there if you aren't taught at a younger age. I mean, that's just embarrassing, okay? And look, it's fine, okay? It's fine that people make mistakes. That's no big issue. I can't fuss, I can't argue, can't complain. There's literally no issue there. But to be something and not even know what the heck it is that you are, that is crazy. What's worse is I've seen that in other religions, including atheism. I've literally seen atheists who straight up tell me, I don't know what the heck it means to be an atheist. To which I'm literally wanting to... I'm going to say this as calmly as I can. I am literally wanting to strangle them at that point. Of course, as a Christian, that is wrong, and I will never do that. But the fact is, it's like... You claim that you are A, but you don't know what A means. Okay? And I've seen Christians commit sins. Now, before someone says, oh, I thought Christians were immune to that whole concept, yeah, no, that's a lie. But the fact is, we're all sinners. One way or the other, we are sinners. However, even if we are sinners, that doesn't matter. That literally doesn't even matter at this point. The fact is, we need to take responsibility for our actions, and if we notice we're sinning, don't just be like, oh yeah, I know I'm sinning. Actually fix it, okay, people? I mean, I've met several dozen Christians who I very calmly am like, I think that's wrong. And they literally just scream at me and don't listen. I mean, we are supposed to be showing the power of the Lord, the glory of the Lord, and the truth of the Lord. Instead, all we're showing is how dumb we are. How is that supposed to bring people over to the side of the Lord, huh? How is that supposed to help us succeed in our mission? We have a mission to help others, to spread the word of the Lord, and to obey the Bible. But when we go around and literally do the entire opposite of what we've been taught, not only are we not being who we say we are, but we're giving false info to others. I've actually met people who think, oh, if you're not a Christian's gonna kill you. I've met people who assume Christians hate blank to the point of killing the person if they commit that sin. I've actually met a few people who, as soon as I told I was a Christian, they just downright thought that I was going to beat them up. I actually had one person crouch down and whimper, begging me not to kill them. I mean, I won't mention the whole story. That's a story for another time. But the fact is, that was because of a horrible experience they had with a false Christian. I mean, we claim that we're Christians, that we're nice, that we're kind, that we're this, that we're that, and yet we don't match any of the claims. I mean, we got everything we could ever ask for the most part. We got gifts beyond comprehension. And I'm not talking about things like fancy computers or video games or toys or clothes. I'm talking about spiritual gifts. We got what we need. So I ask the Christian community as a whole, why are we being idiots? Why are we being fools? We have the info and we refuse to use it. We know what's right and we have hundreds upon thousands of ways to figure it out. And yet, instead of actually using it, we're over here just stating, oh, I'm right, and I know I'm right. I ain't gonna change. You can't make me, blah, 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 blah. I mean, come on, listen to yourselves, people. You're being like the Pharisees, okay? I mean, look, it's fine if you have different opinions. There is nothing wrong with having a different opinion. Well, not as a general whole. I mean, obviously, it can borderline into sins. I think I don't know. I'll have to do my research on that. But the fact is, having an opinion in its own right is not a sin. Maybe the type of opinion might be, but the fact of having it, that is not a sin. Not as a general whole, only in certain circumstances. It's like what I've said before, every rule has an exception. Whether we admit to it or not, every rule has an exception. Now, look, I'm not here to say this is the end times or something. Because, one, I'm not an authority to, and two, the Bible has clearly stated no one knows. I mean, it could be 5 seconds, it could be during the stream, it could be as soon as the video is posted, it could be 5 centuries after I die. The fact is, we are at war against evil, okay? And we need to start acting like a united front, instead of a bunch of crazy idiots running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Or Simpson. I mean, just... How are we going to get anything done if all we're doing is just screaming, oh, you need to do this, oh, you need to do that, oh, you need to do this, oh, you need to do that. And then, when we are the ones doing the same thing we're telling others to stop, and we ain't changing, yeah, that doesn't exactly help our case, okay? I am not just speaking for others here. This video is also for me to remind me that I need to do that. I am just as guilty as the people that I'm reprimanding. Now look, it's fine to have a difference of opinion. But when the difference of opinion causes you to sin, no. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on about I'm right, you're wrong, and whatever, and what makes right right and what makes wrong wrong. But the stuff that I'm trying to state is just obvious, generalized stuff that as soon as you become a Christian should literally be, well, the base point of it. It's like you can't have fire without heat. You can't have ice without cold. And you can't have Christianity without this basic info. Now, I'm still trying to discern what denomination is the right one. I think I have an idea and I think I know. I won't state for a various number of reasons. Now, let me clarify. Yet again, opinions. Having an opinion is not a sin, because an opinion is the result of free will. If having an opinion was sin, having free will is a sin. Now, having an opinion or making a choice to do something that is a sin, that is a sin, I think. Again, gotta do my research, so don't take my word for it. But look, regardless of who in the opinion aspect classifies as a sin and what doesn't, the fact of sin aside, the point I'm trying to get at is this. If you want to have an opinion, no one's going to stop you. You can have an opinion. But you don't have to be a jerk about it when someone tries to tell you that your opinion is wrong. Okay? That is literally what the Pharisees do. Okay? I mean, you can state, till kingdom come, that you disagree. That is fine. But being like, I'm right, you're wrong, and I ain't gonna listen to you, yeah, no. And people do say you need to be open to suggestion, and you need to be open-minded. Yes, to the degree of respecting the other, not to the degree of agreeing with. If you know it's right, you shouldn't change it. But the fact is, sometimes we think we know what's right, and we don't. I too am guilty of that. But being a stuck-up jerk who refuses to even try to do research, okay, so what? If you're right, then you're right. There's no reason to be a jerk stating that you're right. Of course, if you're right, the Bible makes it quite clear, you should not let anything change your mind. But you should at least be respectful and let the other person talk. Though, there are a lot of things going on, like, in some cases, apparently it seems like it's okay to interrupt. I'm not sure what those cases are. But I do know, cutting them off before you even know what the heck they're saying, They could be actual, for all you know, they could be agreeing with you. Literally saying the sentence, I agree. And if you go and say, I don't care, or just start stating they're wrong, then it's going to make you look like a fool. I mean, I get it. Sometimes you don't want to hear. But to straight up say the other person is wrong when you may not even know what they're trying to say, that's judging too harshly, okay? The Bible makes it quite clear. Regardless of denomination. Last I checked, almost every denomination that exists utilizes the Bible to some degree. I mean, seriously. However, I think there might be a few denominations that might not use it. But the fact is, the Bible makes it quite clear that we should not be judging harshly. And to assume that someone is wrong before you even hear them out, that's not judging them fairly. Now, I'm still learning the intricacies of who has authority to do what and why. So I cannot tell you who's in the right or who's in the wrong. What I do know is cutting the person off and just being like, oh, you're wrong. Or, oh, you're doing this because of blank. To accuse someone of something before you even know what the something is, and before you hear the whole story, that's not what we Christians are supposed to be doing. Now, I don't see why we can't just be calm and patient with the other person. It's fine to be moody. It's fine to be aggravated. It's fine to not want to hear them. What's not fine is to immediately state that they're in the wrong if you don't even know what you're talking about. There's no need to be, ignorant and foolish about it. I mean, no one says you have to agree. That's not what I'm saying. No one says that you have to listen to the whole story. All I'm saying is, if you're going to make a comment about if they're right or wrong, then you will have to listen to the story. But if you just simply don't want to comment, or simply don't want to hear, then just be honest and say, I just don't want to listen right now. Don't just straight up say you're wrong. I mean, if you're right and they're wrong, then fine. You're right and they're wrong. It doesn't. In the moral sense, that doesn't matter. In the spiritual sense, I can't really state for it. Still learning. But the point is, the Bible makes it clear that we're not fighting against flesh, we're fighting against spirits, essentially. Well, I may have completely paraphrased and messed up the meaning, but the fact is, we shouldn't care about which one of us is right and which one of us is wrong. If we're right, so be it. If we're wrong, so be it. But if we're right and the other person's wrong, literally screaming at them, cutting them off, and refusing to try to talk to them calmly and explain, and literally refusing to even try at least once to try to calmly and civilly talk to them like civilized people, like we're supposed to be, then you end up being in as much wrong as they are. But let's say it's the other way around. You're wrong, and the other person is right. Most denominations, as far as I know, can agree that if that's the case, and you're in the wrong, and someone else is in the right, and they're trying to teach, the Bible actually clearly states that if you refuse to listen to the wisdom, you're a fool. Now, I don't know exactly the meaning of that. I am not an authority to state, and I always misinterpret stuff anyways due to my ADHD. But either way, the fact is this. The Bible makes it quite clear we should listen to the wisdom of others. But it also makes it clear that we need to use discernment to figure out which is right and which is wrong. So this is some advice for all Christians, myself included. If someone tells you something, do not blindly trust them and assume, oh, they're right. But don't blindly distrust them either and immediately assume they're wrong. If they want to state something and you're willing to listen, then let them state it. But if you're not willing to listen, just simply be honest and tell them you don't want to hear it right now. Don't mention a you're wrong or I'm right concept. Those are considered false accusations. And, well, last I checked, the Bible clearly makes that stated that it's wrong. I'll have to do some more research myself, but my point is, so what if you're right and so what if they're wrong and vice versa? It doesn't matter. It doesn't make you more right pointing out their flaws, and it doesn't make you more wrong by agreeing with them. We're supposed to be loving and kind, not mean and hateful. Okay? Now, if you have an argument, address it calmly, not screaming at each other. I mean, look, I can go for hours on this, but I'm not gonna. The bottom line is this. If someone's going to tell you something, don't accuse them of blankety blank blank blank. Not unless you have a legitimate reason to. But you also need to use discernment. Don't just jump the gun and assume that they're doing blank because you think they are. Sometimes things are not always as they seem. I should know. Like for me, on Discord, lately I've been using the word and People are claiming that that's somehow translating as me being rude and condescending. When in reality, I am using those to indicate that I am confused and have no clue what to say at that moment. Or I'll say other things, and I'll say A, and somehow the translation they get is Q. Now, I know I got a lot to work on, as apparently it seems like I'm just not up to date with social skills. Common side effect of having ADHD. Well, that and a few random personal experiences that I will not get into right now. But the fact is, I too am a victim to the whole trying to say one thing and it getting completely misinterpreted. You don't have, and people have stated they don't have an obligation to listen to me. They're right. They don't. However, I'm not expecting them to listen. And they don't have an obligation, quote unquote, to do much of anything last I checked. But the fact is, we don't spread the word of the Lord by focusing on hate and anger. Getting mad at someone off at the drop of a hat is not helpful, and why is my shirt doing this? You know what? Forget it. I don't care. I'm going to get this done because this needs to be addressed. Now look, we need to up our game, okay? We can't just sit around and do nothing. If we say we're going to do something, we need to do it. If we know we got to do something, then we got to do it. Many times I've seen people teach stuff and they're hypocrites. And as a Bible verse states about the whole, if you're going to try to help someone, I can't remember what the Bible verse says exactly, but something to the degree of, how can you get a tiny piece of sawdust out of someone's eye if you got a log in your own? Now, I don't understand that whole Bible verse a lot, but I'm getting there. And from what I understand, do not take my word for it, but this is just basic info that I don't really think you even need the Bible to know this. Do not, if you got too many issues, fix your own before you try to fix others. Hence the saying, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I mean, come on, people. So, yes, sure, it's admirable to try to help others. I can't deny that. But look, if you go and try to help someone and you don't even try to fix your own issues, then you're just wasting your time and you're wasting theirs. An issue I myself have to fix. And to anyone that I've hurt and done that, I'm sorry. Now, for you Christians out there who have done the same thing, I say it's time to step up and take responsibility for your actions. No one is 100% right. No one except the Lord Himself. We humans are prone to mistakes. That is proven many times throughout history. And no matter when the end of time is coming, that doesn't matter. The fact is, we're here now and we need to be doing something now. Not tomorrow, not 5 days from now, not 10 years, now. And we all have our issues. And while it's okay to go and ask people for help, I hate to say it, but I've seen a lot of people, myself included, being quite lazy in trying to fix it. And unknowingly trying to get others to fix it for them. I know many people who have done this. Not all Christians, admittedly, but quite a lot. So if you too are doing this, I say, time to stand up. Time to take arms against the enemy, Satan, and get the job done. Time to stop being a wimp. Time to stop letting fear control you. Time to stop being all stuck in your own pain. Time to stop not forgiving. Time to stop being full of anger, rage, and hatred towards others. Time to stop being so quick to anger and slow to listen. The Bible itself has stated that in a verse, I do believe. The time has come for a change. And the change has to start with us, okay? We can't just sit around waiting for Jesus to come, waiting for Him to fix it, or waiting for someone else to fix our issues. We need to do this, okay? We can't wait around any longer. No matter when the world ends. That doesn't matter. And I hate to say it, but it seems like a lot of Christians nowadays are getting lazy in what they're supposed to do. And some aren't even trying. Even when they know it's wrong, they don't change. And now it could just... And I've seen a lot of Christians commit sins and just refuse to change, and then when someone tells them, they get mad. But I've seen others who are willing to change, and they're too scared to try. Then there are others who are willing to change, but don't know how. And still others who want to change, but are taught the wrong way, and when they try to fix it, they unknowingly cause a bigger issue than what they're trying to fix. And I hate to admit it, but I fall into all the categories except the first about being angry and just refusing help. Well, actually, now that I've said that, I just remembered a bit of my past. I did that in the past. We can't just keep going around, and we can't just sit around waiting for others to do the job for us. We have to take responsibility for our actions. Every one of us. I've had it. So many false Christians out there. So many people who claim to be Christians, and all due to the simple, well, I'm going to be blunt, what I see as the simple abuse of power. Yes, we as Christians do have power, and yes, we do have authority. But like Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. We got the power, but clearly we don't have the responsibility. We aren't taking responsibility for our actions. And I don't mean just saying, okay, I admit it. I don't mean just simply admitting it. I mean actually doing something about it. Admitting it is the first step. But what so many people, myself included, are failing to realize is the second is actually doing something about it. I mean, really, people? We claim that we're being Christians by doing blankety blank, 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 blank. And then you go around and you don't do what you teach. We're hypocrites, and we can't keep living this way. So this is my call to you, to all Christians. Do what is right. Listen to the Lord. And check your own denomination, please. You might be wrong. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, change it. Now, I don't have the discernment, and I don't have the knowledge to correctly direct any of you. And therefore, at the moment, I'm not going to try. What I do know is, like the saying I said earlier, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Everyone that's a Christian, I've noticed time and time again, for whatever reason, seems to claim that they're correct. Okay, well, fine. If you're correct, you're correct. If you're incorrect, you're incorrect. But stating others' mistakes, while I guess maybe you should do, the fact is, we Christians are doing it too often. And instead of doing it as a teaching maneuver, I've seen this quite often. Instead of using it as a teaching maneuver, it's ending up being used as an insult tactic, essentially. Or a fear tactic, be it intentional or unintentional. We need to up our game. We can't keep doing this. Now look, this has gone on long enough. It has gone on centuries on end. The most prominent examples of these are the Pharisees. I mean, look, Jesus was pretty much reprimanding them for this in every single story that involved the Pharisees last I checked. Every time the Pharisees were brought up, or at least almost every, it dealt with Jesus literally stating exactly what I'm stating pretty much. That maybe not was the exact words, and maybe not was the level of anger and annoyance, but same point. They're being a fool. They are not listening to the laws that they claim to be teaching, and instead of actually doing what's right, they're just doing whatever the hoo-ha they want all willy-nilly. And even if they have great knowledge, they are not using it. It's making all their efforts be in vain, redundant, and they're essentially doing the complete opposite of what they're supposed to be. Now, of course, when I have a bit more knowledge, I'll get back to you on this and mention a few more of the sins and how this is wrong and why it's wrong and blah, 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 blah. I owe it to the whole Christian community to do that. But right now, I can't. And this part is for those who are not Christian. So if you are a Christian and have a friend that isn't, fast forward the video to here and let your friend watch or hear it, because this needs to be heard. Anywho, if you are not a Christian, you got two choices to make before you die. A, forever suffer, or B, be a Christian and actually do what you need to do. Now, I'm not going to force you to. But the fact is, most of the other religions out there already kind of obey qualities of Christianity. So whether you realize it or not, you're more than likely already being a Christian to a degree, just refusing to admit it. Like, seriously, all this be respectful of others concept is literally Christianity. I mean, look, if you want to be the other religion, I ain't going to stop you. You have free will. Your decision, not mine. Just know that, look, I can't make a valid argument right now. My brain is kaput, and I don't have enough knowledge on Christianity to do so. All I can say is, if you continue down the path you are, you will suffer. There's no doubt in my mind. The fact is, you will suffer. And before you start singing, oh, so if I become a Christian, I'm free of suffering. No, you have to be a correct Christian. And same applies to me. If I don't fix this, this applies to everyone. If I don't fix this and do what I need to do to become a proper Christian, well, sorry, bye-bye, I'm going to hell. And I don't want you to go too, okay? If I go to hell, I want the rest of the world to go to heaven. I know there are some people out there who have just straight up said, I don't care if I go to hell. It seems fun. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, well, they're probably beyond help. And unless the Lord himself snaps his fingers and fixes you guys, well, I guess you're going to get your wish. But for those of you who don't want the suffering, for those of you who actually want to have peace, want to have happiness, want to literally have anything other than pain, I'd say you need to change your game plan. And I'm sure there are Christians nearby who can help. But be warned, not all Christians are good Christians. If you are another religion looking into Christianity, you need discernment. You need to do your own research, and you need to find it out yourself. Even as Christians, we need to do it too. Enough is enough. We need to stand as a united front, Christian and otherwise. So either you're going to be part of the problem or you're going to be part of the solution. If you're a Christian, and, well, if you're anything other than a true Christian, you're part of the problem. And right now, I'd hate to say it, but that includes myself. And I'm wanting to be part of the solution. So, it's time that we step up, guys. Atheists, Buddhists, the people who practice Hinduism or whatever, I don't even know what they're called. Other religions. If you don't want to become a Christian, no one's going to force you to. It's your decision. But being a jerk to us, that's not going to help your case. And sure, I could be like, okay, maybe I am wrong. Maybe Christianity is a bunch of hooey. Okay, fine. But do I really want to risk that? No. And, I mean, look. You can believe what you want. And I can believe what I want. That is where the concept of free will comes in. But at the same time, I know that Christianity is true. And I'm sure I'll probably get a lot of comments complaining about this. But fine. But my rules still apply. No cuss words. Any other complaint? Fine. So be it. Vent your heart out. You can send me 5 dozen paragraphs for all I care. But at least try to be respectful. Don't be a jerk. Don't be rude. And don't use cuss words. And look, enough's enough, people. Atheists, Baptists, Buddhists, Catholic, whatever. Don't care your religion. Don't care your denomination. Fact is, if we don't join together now and start fixing this, the world's just going to get worse and worse. Now, I'm in no place to explain why other religions are wrong. I know they are, but I'm in no place to explain how or why. And you can complain to me all you want. But I've said my piece. You can either take the info and try to learn about Christianity and make the decision for yourself, or you can leave it and just ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. Your choice, not mine. Fact is, I gave you the info. And that goes to you Christians too. You want to keep living in sin, that's your decision. You want to ignore these warnings, that's your decision. But to all those out there who actually want to stand up and want to make a change, Christian or otherwise, I say now's the time to do it. What's all that's going on with the coronavirus pandemic, well, semi-apocalypse is what I'm calling it. But the fact is, with what's going on with that and many of the other issues that are going on, like who knows what else. I mean, I know a few other things, but not going to mention it here. Well, all that stuff. I mean, look, if you want to help and you want to do your part, then I'd say stand up and take arms against Satan. Because if you truly want to help in this great battle that we're all fighting, that's who you need to be fighting. That's the way to win. He is the cause of it all. You can choose to believe me, and you can choose to disbelieve me. Right now, I don't really care. I hope that you believe me. But I can't make you. But I can tell you this. From what I've seen, if you do, you will be rewarded greatly. But don't think that doesn't mean you'll be safe from all forms of pain. My life is a prime example that that's not the case. But look, okay? I can go for hours on end explaining this, but I don't have the time or patience right now. The fact is this. If you want to help in this fight, I've stated what you got to do. If you don't, then so be it. But we're all fighting a war. We're all fighting an internal war against our internal demons, the pain of our past, random agony, random misery. We all have our issues we need to fix. From bad habits to mental disorders to any sin. We got to start somewhere. Christians and non-Christians. This applies to us both. It's not one over the other. We got internal fights that we're constantly doing. And if you want to win the war against your internal demons, so to speak, then you've got to become a true Christian. Plain and simple. And I hope my words do not fall upon deaf ears. Because fact is, we need to join. If you've had enough of doing wrong, had enough of any and all pain and misery in your life, then take a stand. Join me in this fight and take a stand against Satan. He is the cause of the pain. Plain and simple. Now, with that, I say, heroes unite! It's high time that we team up and win the fight. Together. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This has gone on long enough, and if we don't start now, it ain't ever going to get better. So for now, I say bye. But please, give this message to anyone and everyone you can. Christian or otherwise. Because now is the time for change. Enough is enough. Now is the time for change. Well, bye guys, and yeah. Let me just... You know what? I'll just click this. Bye for now.